introduction of our project. So basically, ladder carrier is a device where it can help to ease the work of arranging things at high-end position, especially for librarians. This ladder carrier is an innovation that would help the librarians when it comes to stacking the books on the bookshelf. It can be loaded with a significant amount of books of the box compartments. Moreover, this ladder carrier has wheels with a lock for it to move freely to the desired location.
The objective of material selection is to identify the material that is best suited to our project design requirements. The scope is to provide general principles, engineering the guidance, and requirements for material selection. The limitation is the cost of material must not exceed the approximation cost of 500 ringgit Malaysia.
Objective to ensure the box is cut in precise measurement and have a finishing that have a safety and good appearance. Scope and limitation is cutting metal with hand grinding is dangerous because of a spark ring in cut the metal to make the box compartment.
So the objective is to determine which method is the most suitable and easier to be used to attach the parts of the ladder carrier. The scope and limitation. All method is used in the fabrication of ladder carrier, which is welding, rivet, and also screw and nut, where different part of material use different methods to attach based on the suitability. Welding is incredibly dangerous. You need to be extra careful when handling it. Welding is time consuming, where we have to make sure that the base metal melt and flow together in order to properly fuse the workpiece together.
The objective of balancing is to prove that this ladder carrier is completely stable and safe for use, or find any defects that could potentially be unsafe for the users. For the scope and limitation, each box compartment can fill up to 6 to 10 books based on the average standard book size and the dimension. This device has 2 box compartments, thus it can occupy a total of 12 to 10 books. For the load capacity, it can withstand up to maximum 150 kg, which include the weight of books and the user.
Problem statement for our project is we found that the librarians having difficulty to arrange the books at high bookshelf.
So this is our Gantt chart for project 2. This is flow chart for our project 2. For analysis of material selection, first comparison was made between aluminium and stainless steel for double-sided ladder. So for the cost for aluminium is affordable instead of stainless steel have expensive costs. And why we choose aluminium? Because the thermal conductivity have high, workability easy, and strength and more malleable and elastic between stainless steel, very tough and resilient metal. For the corrosion resistant, aluminium have low chances to rust, but stainless steel have high chances to rust because it is need to be painted. And for the weight, we choose aluminium because aluminium have lightweight instead of stainless steel have heavy weight. And for the box compartment, comparison was made between mild steel and stainless steel. We choose mild steel because it is less expensive, workability is easy, weldability, high weldability. Between stainless steel have low weldability, and the weight is less heavier than stainless steel. Malleability, more malleable and further strengthened than stainless steel, which is less malleable and harder. For the thermal conductivity, mild steel have higher than stainless steel. And last, we choose 360 degree for the wheel trolley because 360 movement is freely instead of 180 degree is only move left to right only.
The analysis of cutting process is first hand grinding. Hand grinding is for cutting the small metal only because the process is only for removing the required amount of material. And next is shearing machine. Shearing machine is for the bigger metal sheet. We use the shearing machine. The machine does cutting, but it is only cutting for metal sheet only. And as for the finishing, we use the metal spray can, which is epoxy metal primer. We use the epoxy primer because epoxy primer is a sealer that produces a good surface finish on applied top coats. And the next is the user safety is always the top priority of our project. So by using the edge protectors at the sharp edge for box compartment of ladder carrier, which is to prevent the risk of getting injured.
I'm going to explain the analysis of rivet and welding versus nut of our project. And for welding, it usually have superior strength of joint and it is permanent. That is the advantages of welding joint, but for the disadvantages, it causes distortion of components. This means that it is uneven heating and cooling is also associated with distortion of jointed structures, which causes dimensional inaccuracy and thus rejected parts. For this method of joint, we use it on the top of the ladder for the holder which have to be connected to a metal sheet on the top surface of the ladder. We use it for the holder because it is important for the safety of the user. Then there are the screw and nuts. We use this method on the wheels. This method is easy to install and also uninstall, but it has the disadvantages of corrosion, or commonly known as rust. We use it for the wheels because when the corrosion happens, we can easily replace it. So rivets are highly durable. They are resistant to corrosion, moisture, and even chemicals. Most of the rivets used in steel construction are made out of highly resistant metals and alloys such as galvanized steel, nickel, titanium, and aluminum-based alloy, which increases the tolerance to high pressure and shear load. The anti-corrosive properties also increase the life of the part being joined together. Also, it is easy to inspect and for maintenance purposes. But it will need a lot of work first because we need to install it on most part of the ladder. And yeah, we did this riveting method mostly for the ladder.
I'll be presenting on the analysis balancing of ladder carrier. We use double-sided ladder for this project. It is heavy duty with maximum load capacity of 150 kg. The material of this double-sided ladder is lightweight aluminum construction. For this ladder carrier, we'll be focusing on the stability of this ladder carrier in order to achieve its balancing. It has durable body to support heavy duty job. It also has flat bar, which give more stability to the ladder when climb on it. In this section, I managed to analyze the balancing of ladder carrier based on the books occupied in the box compartment. But before that, I will show you the average standard book size and dimension. The standard book size is 6 inches wide and 9 inches tall, which is equivalent to 152 mm for the width, and for the length is 229 mm. The size and dimension of the box compartment for the length is 300 mm and for the width is 250 mm. Therefore, the books definitely can fit into the box compartment. Testing on the balancing of ladder carrier with books. It started with minimum amount of books, where for testing A, 6 books is placed into only the left side of the box compartment. From the observation for testing A, the ladder carrier is stable even though the right side of the box compartment is empty and no user on the ladder. Testing A is repeated for testing B, but at the different side of box compartment where it is on the right side. The observation is the same as testing A. For testing C, both sides of the compartment is filled up with a total books of 12, where each box is filled up with 6 books. For the observation of testing C, it is stable even though no user on the ladder. Lastly, for testing D, the box compartment is filled with a total of 12 books and the user is on the ladder. Next, move on to the testing on the balancing of ladder carrier with maximum amount of books, where for testing A, 10 books is placed into only the left side of the box compartment. From the observation of testing A, the ladder carrier is stable even though the right side of the box compartment is empty and no user on this ladder. Step testing A is repeated for testing B, but at a different side of box compartment where it is on the right side. The observation is the same as testing A. For testing C, both sides of box compartment is filled up with a total books of 20, where each box is filled up with 10 books. For the observation on testing C, it is stable even though no user on the ladder. Lastly, for testing D, the box compartment is filled with a total of 20 books and the user is on the ladder. From the observation of analysis balancing, it is proven that this ladder carrier is completely stable and safe for the user. This is because the ladder carrier gained its stability from the base itself. The base of the double-sided ladder must be extended correctly to the maximum spread of length in order to achieve the maximum stability when using the ladder carrier. In short, the wider the base, more stable the structure. As you can see here, we spent 415 ringgit and 52 cents on this project, which it is under budget of 500 ringgit. This shows that we successfully managed to stay under budget of 500 ringgit.
In conclusion, after done all the research throughout the semester, we managed to fabricate this leather carrier. Besides that, we successfully managed to achieve all the objectives of our project. Most importantly, our project, which is leather carrier, can lessen the workload of the librarians in carrying their tasks, where it can save time, thus it can increase the work productivity.